Traditional markets put in a tepid day of strength, however, and altcoins show even more positive growth as Bitcoin decides to just take the day off, essentially. We're going to cover all this and more in today's exciting episode of Breaking Bitcoin.
I'm Cap.
I'm Karloff.
And we're with Particle.io, and this is Breaking Bitcoin.
Welcome back to Breaking Bitcoin. We are live every evening at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. This is your evening source for everything markets and finance. I'm your host, Justin Wise, lead analyst and senior mentor at crackingcryptocurrency.com. I hope you guys are having an absolutely fantastic evening. If you are looking to develop a verifiable systems approach to your trading strategy, whether it be cryptocurrency, Forex, ETFs, or indices, join our community. Take advantage of our signals and trade setups, premium indicator suite, Pathways to Profit strategy building course, community mentoring, and much more. Sign up today for the premium trading group at premium.crackingcryptocurrency.com. That's premium.crackingcryptocurrency.com. So much to talk about tonight. The pound slipped sharply today on news that the Bank of England was introducing emergency plans to allow the British government to directly tap it for money when they want to expand government spending. This bypasses the traditional means of government spending via the gilt system, right? So, again, this is completely, if you guys want to talk about money printer, go burr. Meanwhile, the Australian dollar does continue to charge off. Still coming off of the hawkish moves from the RBA earlier this week. I talked about this yesterday. I talked about this on Tuesday, for the love of God, and we've been making a lot of money trading the Australian dollar pairs. Now, the euro is nursing its losses, and we talked about this yesterday, how an agreement for the entire eurozone between basically a community debt option, basically, but the Northern European countries, which are typically have stronger economies, do not really want to finance the Southern European economies. But not all hope might be lost that a deal across the Eurozone can be reached. France's finance minister, Bruno Le Maire, declared today that a failure to reach an agreement is inconceivable. So we shall see. Mexico rejected the current OPEC deal. So it is possible that we're going to see oil begin to take another tumble from here starting tomorrow. And Democratic lawmakers here in the United States have admitted that it's unclear if we'll be able to open up the economy anytime soon, and that a depression could happen. So let me qualify that, because they're not being honest. A depression is inevitable. We're already there. Now, in crypto land, we're going to be talking about the Bitcoin Cash mining exodus, all of the ASIC power that is moving over to the Bitcoin chain from the Bitcoin Cash chain, and talk about what we can expect coming up upon the Bitcoin halving, whether stimulus money is going to pump the price of Bitcoin, and the staggering amount of Americans filing jobless claims tonight and their effects on the market. So let's get right into that with today's first story. Of course, you guys can also follow us over there on Twitter and Instagram, where we do post exclusive content you won't see anywhere else. Hopefully you guys are doing fantastic. Let's get right into this. Let's go. All right. 1 second, guys. Okay. There we go. Where is it? Right over here. There we go. All right. So our first story of the evening is going to be on the Bitcoin Cash. The HODL shirt. Our first story of the evening is going to be on the Bitcoin Cash mining exodus. This is an update on a story that we've been following this week, and that is the BCH chain undergoing its first halving event. Now, yesterday, we saw early signs of miners exiting the Bitcoin Cash chain to mine Bitcoin, which, of course, just had its own difficulty reset. With Bitcoin's halving not yet for another month, Bitcoin Cash is now much less of an attractive chain to mine on for at least another 30 days when Bitcoin has its own halving. Now, there is a serious incentive right now, therefore, drawing SHA-256 ASIC miners to direct their resources to mine on the Bitcoin chain over BCH right now. And as a result, today we see that hash rate on Bitcoin Cash's network dropped to near all-time lows, meaning the chain is more vulnerable to a 51% attack now than it has ever been before. And data shows that almost immediately after the network found block number 630,000, miners ceased mining, resulting in a 109-minute delay before the next block was mined in what is normally just a 10-minute window. Now, that means that there was nearly a 2-hour block stall caused by an exodus of miners from the chain, no longer feeling incentivized to mine BCH. And if we look at hash rate data from Coin Wars, we can see a collapse in the hash rate on BCH going on from 4 exchanges per second. Here we go. We can see this collapse of mining activity from 4 exchanges on April 8th to suddenly below 1 exahash the following day. It's a pretty startling drop, to say the least. It's a pretty startling drop, to say the least. Now, sources did tell Decrypt that the BCH hash rate could have fallen further if it wasn't for certain mining pools continuing to operate at a loss in order to continue to maintain the network. However, it should be noted... Oh, sorry. Here's the hash rate. I was showing you guys the difficulty chart. So, okay, we can see dropping from over 4 equihash to down below 1. So, pretty startling drop. However, it should be noted that Bitcoin Cash does feature a dynamic difficulty adjustment algorithm, or at least relative to Bitcoin's 2-week difficulty adjustment schedule. Bitcoin Cash's difficulty reset, it resets its difficulty quickly to reflect the miner exodus. This does mean that normal block times for BCH were resumed reasonably quickly, as the mining difficulty also dropped dramatically, reflecting the network's plummeting hash rate. And if we look at the hash rate distribution chart, we can see that BTC.com is one of the largest mining pools on the BCH network, and it is considered to be operated by the hardware manufacturer Bitmain itself. And then, of course, there's Antpool, which is considered to also be affiliated with Bitmain, as it is managed by Bitmain co-founder Jihan Wu. With blockchain data showing that BTC.com alone has mined 20 out of the 36 blocks produced since the halving, it shows that the network could be vulnerable if pools collude to disrupt the network. And the Bitcoin.com pool has also taken a huge hit in its hash rate. Data shows that it dropped nearly 92% in the past 24 hours. The hash rate of Bitcoin.com dropped 92% in the past 24 hours, suggesting that CEO Roger Ver is indeed having trouble keeping the chain post-halving at these prices. It's simply not profitable. So now it's a matter of wait and see. Will the hash rate continue to drop, or have we seen the worst of it for now? Will we see the BCH network stabilize from here, thanks to baseline support from a few key miners, and coast along until the next difficulty adjustment arrives for Bitcoin, at which point, potentially, with the reduced block reward halving coming in for Bitcoin, that there will be kind of an equal incentive to just go back and mine BCH. That's why they were there in the first place. Along with a rapidly adjusting difficulty on BCH, though, it is likely safe currently from catastrophic death spirals, right? It does have that dynamic difficulty adjustment, even if more miners were to depart the network over the next several weeks. And it would just be vulnerable to attack. It doesn't mean that anybody will actively do so, but it's just important to be aware of what the state of the chain is. Still, there is a lot of uncertainty surrounding the BCH blockchain this week. Please let us know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Our second story of the day is going to be focusing here on the American jobless claims here. Some say that the economic outlook for the United States economy is looking fairly bleak, with the latest unemployment data showing that another 6.6 million Americans have filed for unemployment in the past week alone. This brings the unemployment rate in the United States to effectively 10%. Now, in anticipation of the oncoming employment data, the Federal Reserve Bank announced another $2.4 trillion in stimulus, declaring no limit on its support package, and it remains committed to a quote-unquote robust recovery of the economy. And the money printers are buzzing again this evening with the Fed's unlimited cash policy at its disposal. Traditional markets like the SPY have already put in a small rally off of the news. With the Fed propping up markets and stimulus money making its way to people slowly, things seem to be getting along for now. But with decreased consumer demand thanks to cities on lockdown, the question is, will money alone be able to keep the economy moving along? Essentially, will speculative investments be able to continue to coast the money along when retail simply isn't sticking their money into the markets anymore? Now, just a week ago, jobless claims were around 10 million. But a staggering jump in these week's numbers brought it to 16.6 million. The jump in applicants has strained state infrastructure across the country, with backlogs and other issues. A stunning 10% unemployment rate may just be the tip of the iceberg, though, particularly if the numbers rise this month as the lockdown stretches on. So The question we have to ask is, how are you guys managing during this lockdown? Has your jurisdiction started paying people unemployment? How long do you think this will last? And how long can the Fed keep paying to keep the economy in limbo, which is certainly what it is right now? The last thing that I want to cover is going to be on the topic of money getting out to the people and the money printers running on overdrive. We do have this article from the Daily Hodl. Arthur Hayes, the outspoken CEO of Bitmex, the crypto derivatives exchange Bitmex, has weighed in with his own take on what all the U.S. money printing will do to the global economy in due time. So, writing in a blog post for his Crypto Traders Digest, right here, Hayes wrote about how shrinking consumer demand for foreign goods and heavy hoarding of cash by American banks will not get to the businesses and nations that need it the most, i.e. cash will not get to the businesses and nations that need it the most. And this will trigger a more sustained, widespread economic fallout. Right now, Hayes isn't sure about the timing, but he does describe a strong USD, about how a strong dollar breaking the global economy, forcing an economic reset, saying it's just a matter of time and wondering what it will look like. And according to Hayes, Bitcoin stands to benefit in the coming years, particularly if the United States moves forward with digitizing the dollar, writing that all he knows is that the setup for Bitcoin, the hardest form of digital money, couldn't be any better. All manners of trust have evaporated. In order to solve for demand and supply destruction, governments will embark on the greatest fiscal stimulus binge the world has ever seen. It will not be paid for by tax recipients. It simply cannot be, because 30% of the population is out of a job. It will be paid for by the printing press, i.e. money that doesn't exist, debt that's owed to our future selves. To top it off, Hayes wrote that governments will have to digitize their currency in order to get the money out to the people. In the process, the people will be educated about digital money and how digital money works, and new avenues will be opened for mobile payment technologies to evolve. According to Hayes and many Bitcoin proponents today, this is a perfect scenario to draw new interest and awareness of the decentralized Bitcoin blockchain and a new payment system. In terms of traditional markets, Hayes says that he expects another market tumble, with the S&P 500 testing 2,000 again this year. And as for Bitcoin, he warns traders about buying the dip because he foresees Bitcoin dipping to $3,000 again this year, but is also bullish for a new all-time high prediction by end of year as well. Finally, he described Q1 of 2020, the collapse in asset values, as the unwinding of an ancient regime. Now, to Hayes, there's almost 100 years of imbalances that need resolving, and that Bitcoin will shine in due time. So, of course, let us know what you guys think about that below. The Bitcoin New World Order coming in says, Robin from the Hood, it does seem like the Restream chat is working tonight. Sometimes we just can't ask for more. Sometimes everything just comes together beautifully. All right, let's see here. I can tell you, man, I gotta pay the guy who makes my thumbnails far more. Anyways, all right, hopefully you guys are doing fantastic. Let's get right into the markets. There's so much to talk about. Let me pop out this other chat so I can make sure I see what you guys are saying. All right, I see you guys. I see Go7, I see Mr. Ether, I see Day and Night, Midwest Attempts. I see Yassine, Crypto Jack, Atomic Stag, Boris Bitcoin, Caesar, Josh, or Jose, I'm sorry. B-Flow, good to see you, my friend. All right, let's get over to the realm of trading, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so Bitcoin on the daily, Heikinashi chart, bullish trend. Ethereum on the daily. We're looking at the perpetual swap contracts on Bitcoin. These are daily time frame prognostications. Keep in mind, I've held my spot long and my leverage long for quite a while. Both are in no loss situations. But have we flipped? Do we have any confirmation of a bearish trend flip? No, we don't. We still have bullish Heikin-Ashi charts. Let's actually turn off bar coloring. All right, so we still have bullish Heikin-Ashi charts. We are still trading above the baseline for Bitcoin on the daily, both for traditional candlesticks and for Heikin-Ashi candlesticks. Now let's get... All right. We take ATR off. We got Parallax on. This is looking good. We got WADA on. This is looking good. Okay. Cool. Everything is just the way we want it. One modification that I want to make here. Cool. All right, good. All right, cool. Just the way we want it. Looking at the breaking Bitcoin system, we are above the continuation filter. We do need to close this. Sorry, we're on Ethereum again. Let's get back over to Bitcoin. Stay one thing at a time, guys. Cool. That makes life simple. All right, Bitcoin on the daily here. Heikin-Ashi chart, as I said, bullish trend is still intact. Bearish trend has not been confirmed yet. Price is, of course, price is a stressful area for anybody that's been sitting on a position for several days without significant movement. Anybody that did not long, let's go to Japanese candlesticks so we can actually see normal dynamics. Anybody that did not long, that didn't enter into a long in this area and has only recently entered in the local 4-hour range or the local daily range of the last 4 days. I mean, yeah, of course you're going to be not in a super happy position. Why? Because you haven't seen any positive movement in your direction. You've seen nothing but low volatility. You can look at average true range and see average true range just begin to completely fall off. Again, I don't think this is the more optimum area for entry. 71.36 on the daily time frame. Daily close below that is going to be putting us in a no trade zone for right now. Currently on the daily, we need to crack 56.77 to confirm a bearish daily trend. 4-hour or intraday trades are going to be valid in the no trade zone on the daily time frame in between 71.36 56.77. It depends on what strategy that you're running, what strategy that you've tuned. For our basic default daily time frame swing trades or positional trades, there's really nothing on the table. Again, we positioned over here on the continuation filter break. We also got the initial long signal from Minx right here. We got the continuation long signal here from Minx as well. Wadatar explosion has been bullish. We have not trend flipped on Wadatar explosion. We do have receding positive volume delta. Parallax is still bullish as well. So again, what does this mean? What is the area of the chart that we're in? We're not getting any strong signals to initiate trades to the upside. In fact, we can see that Minx actually crossed to the underside here on the daily time frame on yesterday's daily close, so today's daily close. So if you're running a very sensitive early exit system, remember that Minx is very sensitive, so it gets you into trades, it gets you out of trades if you're using it as an exit system. So that is the only exit signal that I see on the chart. So this is it's a choppy area of the market, right? It's a choppy area of the market. And so I certainly understand the kind of, is price going to move up? Is price going to move down? Particularly when prices moved sideways for 4 days. Now, as I said yesterday, I'm more inclined to think that we're going to pull back from here. That's why, for example, my Ethereum trades, my XLM trade, my BNB trade, I've aggressively moved my stop loss to my first and second take profit targets. Most of those have hit TP2, not TP3. I haven't hit the final take profit, so I've aggressively moved those stop losses up from break even to TP1 as prices moved up. Now, my Bitcoin leverage long has only ended up hitting one take profit, so my stop loss on that one is break even. Ethereum, for the other hand, hit take profit 2, so my stop loss is at take profit 1. So I've locked in about 12% profit on that, really no matter what happens. XLM, BNB, right around that 8 to 11% swing on those swing trades as well. So good movements out of those. But this is an area for me where I'm not really looking to take extra long exposure to the upside. In fact, one of the trades that one of the trades that I posted yesterday was a was a short, right? Was a short. So this is an area of the market where I have a lot of long exposure open up. I've got I have long exposure in traditional markets. I have hedged exposure in Forex markets. I have ETF exposure. I have CFD exposure. And although, for example, I'm also short on the VIX and I have other shorts in as well, I wanted to add more to my short hedge exposure here as well. So taking the BTC USDT perpetual contract short on Bitcoin. Now, on the daily time frame, a trade like that really wouldn't be confirmed until we close below 71.36. And properly, what we would want to do is on the daily, if we're looking for positional swing trades, not positional swing trade, if we're looking for swing trades to the upside and we're looking for trend continuation signals, then what we're really looking for here to do is exit our trade on an exit signal, patiently wait while we sit spot long and wait for a continuation signal. For me, for my system, that's going to be a couple of things. It could either be Minx giving a crossover in bullish territory, i.e. Minx crossing above the noise line while we're above zero. It could be crossing below and then crossing back above my continuation filter. And then the only other kind of trade that I look for, the only kind of reversal trade that I would look for in this situation is going to be a reversal baseline bounce, but the baseline sitting all the way down at 59.81. So that's going to be a pullback, right? That's going to be a pullback, really. So again, the take profit target for the trade that I have on is going to be around 6,300. So I really wouldn't be surprised. Again, I'm prepared for price to go down to 6,300 if we do end up breaking down from this consolidation area. Now, a lot of this data isn't easy to see on the daily time frame. So because the daily time frame is very simple to trade, you're not going to see all the granularity on the daily. You need to go down to the mesos. And if you haven't built a daily, in my opinion, if you haven't built a daily swing strategy yet, you shouldn't really be worrying about the granularity of the market because you want to learn how to make money on a chart that only changes once a day, right? That's what you want to do. That is the easiest way to become a consistently profitable trader, is to trade a chart where you have full control and you only trade once a day. This is my primary strategy, where we only trade once a day. All right. Handy had a spot long hedge earlier today, but that got invalidated. So you mean that means you would have to be short spot 100% of the BTC that you hold, and then buying spot long. That makes sense if you're not holding Bitcoin as your margin, typically, right? Handy says, I'm short. Hey, I don't blame you, man. I don't blame you. Again, that's not my style of trading. I don't try to call tops. I don't try to call bottoms. I think it's a generally unsuccessful pursuit. Again, typically, what is the bias of the market? Once, if we are moving up and we move sideways, typically we move up, right? Rejection tends to happen very quickly, right? We move up very rapidly and we begin selling off very rapidly, right? So those are really the kind of, movements that I like to see, if I were to be pulled into taking some kind of reversal position, right? I would want to see a significant failure of price. When I see price like start to weekly dip and begin to, weekly move sideways, we can see right here. We saw it right over here. Price moved up fairly strongly and it started selling off. Yeah, was there a short there? Yes, certainly, possibly, particularly on the lower time frames. That was a big move. But we can see here that on the daily, if you're swing trading, if you're positionally trading, for example, if you had bought down here, if you had bought anywhere around here, and then you got faked out by this sell-off, that wasn't the move for you, right? Because you missed out on this movement to the upside. You missed out on a better opportunity for profit taking. So not really the move, not really the play in my book. And I don't really see anything. I trade with the trend, so I don't see anything pointing us to the downside at this point in time. With that being said, let's go look at the 4-hour time frame. 4-hour time frame, we can get a little bit more granularity. And again, just as I talked about yesterday, this is what's really kind of leading my short-term bearish bias that we are going to see a little bit of a sell-off here. We can see the peak of price right over here. We've had a lower high here, a lower high here, a lower high here. Every time we come back, we're just not able to kind of keep on making it up. And this is what I talked about. This is what I talked about yesterday. I think we can see a fairly clear 4-hour range be established here. And what has happened, we have really kind of broken down below that range. We broke down on this candle, tried to come back up, could not clear the top, and we seem to be failing that lower boundary of the range yet again. Looking at the... Don't want that. What do we want? We want this. We want this. There we go. The 4-hour time frame is just about to peak to the downside as far as Minx is. We are about to cross down to the 0 line, cross below the 0 line on Minx on the 4-hour time frame, which would be a 4-hour signal. Watertower explosion has already gone bearish on the 4-hour time frame, and we are starting to get a rising explosion level on the current 4-hour close. That signal would be confirmed in about an hour and 30 minutes. And Parallax flipped bearish over here near the top. So the 4-hour is actually not fully pointing us down yet, but about to be pointing us down, perhaps on the close of this 4-hour candle. And again, I would say invalidation if we're able to close the 4-hour back above 73.90, 7400 would be invalidation for me. And again, not really a movement. I don't really think that the play as a trend following trader is to short it. I think the play would be to exit any kind of intraday positions or 4-hour swing positions and then wait for your opportunity to swing back up to the upside. So really just an opportunity to kind of take a pause on your trading for a minute. 15-minute time frame happened exactly what I talked about yesterday. We did end up rejecting from the point of control, back over here on the 7th. We talked about price coming back up to retest the previous day's point of control. That's exactly what happened. We've basically consolidated and been in a ranging market with one steep sell-off earlier today. We've come back up, consolidated from that point of control, and have currently rejected from it, right? Now, since today's open, we haven't really gone back up and tagged 73.10, so I do expect us to do that before we actually fall off to the races here. But the current level of support is going to be down below us at 71.10. That's where we've kind of descended to several times. And we would have had 1, 2, this would be our third test of that level. And overhead resistance we have tested as well 3 times, 73.70. That's why I talked about 7400. Closing back above that would be fairly bullish. We can see we tested here after forming it right over here. Actually, no, once. So once, twice, 3, 4, 5 times we've tested that level of resistance. And looking at Renko right now, currently looking at Renko, using Renko with a 2.25% deviation. We are still bullish. We have not gotten any exit signal for Renko, meaning we have not sold off enough to kind of generate the system to tell you to go short in any way, shape, or fashion. Ethereum looking very similar. Heikinashi trend looking good, staying above the continuation filter. Again, Heikinashi smoother than Japanese candlesticks because we didn't even get that. Wibble wobble telling us to exit over here. Looking at traditional candles right here. Again, no exit signal. Let's make sure that Minx, except on Minx. Actually, Minx generating a take profit long signal on yesterday's daily close. So a signal there for exiting of Minx trades, meaning that we did reach the oversold level and have since recovered from that. Just as we got the take profit short signal, Minx called the take profit short signal right down here on this red candle. Again, often has a very good habit of getting us out. All right. So definitely something to consider and actually quite interesting. All right. And we can see on the 4-hour time frame, we are getting a little bit more bearishness from that as well, seeing some more follow through here on Ethereum than we are on Bitcoin. Again, the altcoins have been more volatile than Bitcoin, so I'm not actually surprised to see Ethereum leading as opposed to Bitcoin at this point in time. Take a look down. Point of control. Yeah, current level sitting down below us is going to be about 165.32. And then there's really not a whole lot before. There is this single print down at about 155.07. So that's going to seem like a fairly logical first stop for me if we are to sell off at this point in time. And then there is another single print down below there around 149.50. And then, of course, there is a gap to fill at 144.57. So if we are looking for a big sweep of those targets, that's what it's going to look like. And I think that gets invalidated if we're able to close back above 172.54. But right now, it does look like we are getting some rejection and resistance right now. And Ethereum, again, kind of moving faster and quicker. This is the 2.25% standard deviation on, not standard deviation, but deviation Renko on Ethereum USD. And we have flipped bearish. Renko has flipped bearish. All right, SPY mini futures though, moving to the upside so far. Not looking too bad as we move into the evening. Again, we've had some good positive movements. The SPYs continue to move to the upside. And I'm fairly certain they're going to be adding Bitcoin to the index at any point in time now. So, because they again seem to be correlated so well. The Russell actually finally coming back as smaller cap stocks actually starting to put in their thing. Go, Russell. Go, baby. So I actually think we're going to gap to the upside on traditional markets tomorrow. Meanwhile, the VIX continues to fall. I'm still short on the VIX, so very happy about that. Euro dollar actually getting a little bit of upside movement. Most things are moving away. Yes, I'm in the trading challenge, Jose. I am right over here, brother. Slow and steady with my 4%, my brother. Gold continues to have some nice positive moves to the upside. I'm not long on gold, but I am long on silver and getting some good movements from silver. Let's actually break down the dailies and look at these movements a little bit more clearly here. $2.3 trillion did help, and the big board is closed tomorrow. Yep. Yep, you guys all right. Markets are closed for Good Friday. Oh yeah, did I say something? Did I say something silly again? Sometimes I do that when I get going. Yes, markets gap up on Monday. Sorry, Monday. Anyways, but let's look at how we closed on Thursday today. Anyways, so again, SPY rallying up nicely, gapping to the upside and giving a nice positive close. Not long on the SPY. Not long on the SPY ETF, but I'm long on the SPLG. All right. And again, here was the initiation signal, but you need 263.71 to trade one share of the ETF. So the SPLG is in the $30 range. So it's just a much more attractive investment to get into, just for margin requirements. But anyways, looking good. We can see Minx coming in on the very same signal, continuation long signal above the continuation filter here on the SPY. Watertar explosion confirming positive movements. Parallax confirming positive movements. So again, nice positive move to the upside. We've got no exit signal on the SPY. I don't see anything. I don't have any cause for bearishness on the SPY. Same on the Q. Same on the Q, exact same thing. Almost all of the traditional markets signaling to go long on the 6th earlier this week. So no bearishness. Same for the Dow, the DIA, looking okay. The Dixie does continue to take a little bit of a tumble as individuals move into riskier assets, which is good to see. For long speculation, T-Note's taking a little bit of a pop today. And we can kind of see here. Let's go, baby. We can see, listen, Brent. I don't know, baby. Here's the thing. If you just look at the news, you would say, well, you know, Mexico's rejecting that OPEC deal, so we're going to sell off. But I don't know. I'm thinking that might have been the dip. And we're going to go down on oil again. Time to bust out that drip ETF. Get long on drip. I don't know. I'm not positioned in Mr. Bentley Crude over here. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't say, you know, I'm sure the United States is doing purchasing, but here's the thing, like just demand for oil is running low, right? You know, like United States, shale companies have switched their operations, which is somewhat of an offset. But is the United States government like stockpiling oil? I mean, there's not really it's not really a lot of places to put it is the problem, right? Like global demand for oil is reducing. Now, in the long term, I'm really confident that the price of oil will recover, but oil is going to be where average citizens don't want it, right? I don't really feel like that makes a whole lot of sense. Like, why would we spend our money purchasing oil when we produce oil? We're an oil producing nation. Like, we don't need to hoard oil. We can just increase our production to get more market share, which is exactly what Saudi Arabia and Russia are fighting over right now. Yeah. There we go. Nobody said he makes sense. Because the cost to produce it in the States. Well, then you could cut. Then Trump could just cut regulation. Regulation is what makes it expensive. Okay? Quality of oil from the Middle East versus the United States is totally different. The Middle East is easier to refine. They got that nice black tar. And we got that cut. That's what you're talking about, right? I don't know. I don't think it still doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I mean, what I'm saying is, do I think that the United States should spend money to stockpile oil? I mean, sure, they certainly could if they felt that was something that they wanted us to do, but that's not really our economic concern. Our economic concern is increasing market share. Like I said, that's exactly what Russia and Saudi Arabia are fighting over. And what you can do is incentivize businesses to output more. That's the whole point. Fire it up. Zombieologist trades Pokemon cards. I don't know nothing about that. I don't know nothing about them Pokemon cards. I would get smoked if I tried to trade Pokemon cards. Trying to call the top on that Bulbasaur in here. You guys are going to get me smoked. All right. We covered Bitcoin. We covered the things. Maybe you could buy it. Maybe you could buy Nintendo shares and hedge with Pokemon cards, right? Like you could trade the Pokemon derivatives. All right, so if we were to go to 6,300 on a weekly time frame, that wouldn't be too crazy. The reason why is because that's the point of control. That is the long-term, long time frame logarithmic point of control for Bitcoin's market cycle since December 2017. That's where all the volume in the market is. So that is where, I mean, I've rode this long up for the last few days. And 6,300, 6,400 would be a retreat back into the yellow box, which is currently the accumulation level. We really need to lose this. If we lose 6,000, then again, we have to start looking down at our lower box territory, 3,300 to 4,000. So right now, if we do sell back down into 63, 64 and reclaim this level, that's going to be healthy for me to see. That's right, Handy. I mean, you've been watching the show for a while because I think you were around when we first put out the TD sequential video. That was a long time ago. We have done so much in between then. Long time ago. What do I feel about the Overstock dividends being paid out as digital assets? That's actually really cool, in my opinion. So I was reading that article yesterday. In fact, I should have it over here. Let's pull it up. If I can find it. Yep, here it is. Overstock has slated May 19th as the date to airdrop OSTKO security tokens as a dividend to its shareholders. 1 token for every 10 Overstock shares they own. You can only trade on T0. $92 tokens worth of trades on T0. Rough. You'd think with all that money they could get a market maker over there. Come on, man. So basically they're saying, yes, we're going to give these tokens out to you guys, but we want to make sure that there is no possible way that you could sell them. Yeah, I mean, so Overstock's been, crypto bullish for a long time, so that certainly doesn't surprise me to see a movement like that out of them. I think that we're going to see more of that. Like one of the projects that I'm interested in is INDX, right? They did the same thing, security token offering, and they are, they went about it the legal way over in the UK, and that's cool to see. You get ownership of mining resources and utilities. So I think that we're going to see a lot of these. So that's a little bit different. That's that's an offering that's backed by corporate shares, but this isn't any different, right? They're going to be companies and individuals that are going to push their clients toward what they actually believe in, and that's a more efficient system, right? This is a more efficient system for dividend distribution, and I mean, it pulls them into the ecosystem, right? And especially if you launch it just on their platform, it pulls them into your trading platform, that's kind of like owning the it's kind of like owning the casino and paying the investors into your casino out in casino tokens that they can only use at your casino, right? It's kind of an ample, it's kind of a good example, right? It's good business. Dinosaur Financial Group. I love it, man. All right, so no thank you. Don't accept cookies on this platform. So I'm not cryptos and tokens. I'm not sure there whether you have to do it whether it's through their mobile app or it's through that dinosaur group. It says it's powered by T0 though, so I assume it's just a plug-in opportunity that you get right on the mobile app. So I assume if you download the T0 mobile app, you can do everything that they want. Let's go look at Overstock. Pump it up. Yep. So let's see here. Continuation long signal right here was the last signal. And some beautiful follow through, man. Yeah. It's really nice. Rising explosion level. Don't really need it for the continuation trade, but that is some really good follow through. I would say that OSTK is bullish above 569. This is something I would want to short, most likely below 440. Let's take a gander here. Yeah, this is kind of its, for the last year, this has kind of been its somewhat level of failure, right? This is just best fit, right? Rejection, fake out, rejection. We'll see if we can get kind of past this descending area. But I think what's more important really is just, getting back above the $10 floor. If Overstock can get back above the $10 floor, I think that's pretty significant for it. But right now we're in an uptrend. We're in a daily uptrend. Buying opportunities down closer around 570. Not right now. That's not something you buy. All right. Everybody be honest. Which one of you guys sold right at the bottom? That's a little scam wick on BTC. Coming back up to test the point of control. It's 9:58. Wow. Did so much today. Thank you, man. I do my best. Put on my daily trades. I like to come hang out with you guys and break the markets down. And from time to time, oh, that didn't work. And from time to time, we toss confetti. From time to time, we will also present charts. Oh, no. I gotta apply the Chrome key. That's what I forgot to do. There we go. From time to time, we make it rain Bitcoins. That's a good one. I can't believe we haven't used that one before. Sensor chart shows lots of buyers compared to sellers. Come on, sensor charts. About ScalpX. Social index is down. Open interest is, I don't want to say doing very much. Stalling out while open value is falling. Social index is pretty negative. Overall wallet balance is increasing. That indicates that buying is occurring. Net exchange inflows have been positive for the last 4 days. That's not necessarily a good thing. Outflows, money flowing out of exchanges. If I had to, yeah, sensor charts don't care, man. Honey badgering it. Speaking of D-Live, Crazy Legend, thanks so much for the follow over there on D-Live, my friend. Mr. Ether Robin from the, thank you so much for the lemons. Young Johnny, thank you so much for the follow over there on Twitch as well. All right, Midwest Attempts, Rob and Mr. Ether, DePie Guy, and Ricky getting some big lemons today. Thank you guys so much. I highly appreciate it. With that being said, guys, closing thoughts for the evening. Listen, I think that Bitcoin is a little is more likely to pull back over the weekend. Tomorrow's going to be a fairly interesting day, but I think that based on what we're seeing, it's likely that Bitcoin's price is going to pull back a little bit more over the weekend, and that's okay. Overall, remember, we are in bullish territory. Retreats into this golden zone, the yellow zone, are going to be overall bullish, in my opinion. Upcoming for the halving. Kind of shooting us for this overhead red box territory is really what I'm looking for here, moving forward for the next 3 to 4 months. We really need to kind of significantly close below the point of control and lose 6,000. And once we get down there, we can still, don't worry, we can spin up some bullish narratives. But yeah, as for the next 24 to 48 hours, maybe 72 hours, I'd expect to see more downwards pressure than upwards pressure. And I will change my mind on that if we can get a nice close above 7,400. If we can close above 7,400, then we're probably going to push higher, but that'll be interesting. That'll be interesting to see. We're going to need to see some momentum and volume. We'll need to see if some volume go along with that momentum. I think that altcoins are probably going to get stopped in their tracks too. We'll see. That's going to be interesting to watch. All right, with that being said, guys, Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Breaking Bitcoin. Today's episode, EP 672, Bitcoin Cash happening. Bitcoin Cash minor exodus. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, sarcastic remarks, and or death threats, please leave them down in the comments section on the YouTube channel, yt.crackingcryptocurrency.com. Do my best to get back to you over the next 24 to 48 hours. Make sure to smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, hit the notification bell, otherwise they will not tell you when we go live. You will also enjoy following us on Instagram and Twitter. We do post exclusive content that you will not see anywhere else. There are links down in the description to anything you could possibly want in life. Of course, if you are beginning your journey to verified systems trading, make sure to join the premium group at premium.crackingcryptocurrency.com to take advantage of our indicator suite, our community mentoring, our strategy building process, and everything else that comes with mentorship. You can find all that information out at premium.crackingcryptocurrency.com. My name's Justin Wise, lead analyst and senior mentor around these parts. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your evening. Get some rest. We've got a big day ahead of us tomorrow, and we will be here tomorrow for Good Friday at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Same crypto show, same crypto network, guys. Be good, be excellent to one another, and trade safely. We'll see you tomorrow.